It was a Merry Knicksmas at the Garden as the Knicks beat the Bucks for the first time this season, 129-122 on Christmas Day. So let's talk some Knickerbocker basketball. We're going to do it with New York Post beat writer Stephen Bondy, who joins me now. Steph, how's it going? Happy holidays, Merry Christmas. How you doing?
Good, man. Merry Christmas to you, too.
Thank you, too, man. Now, Steph, coming into this one, the Knicks, they were 0-3 against Milwaukee this season, and the Bucks had won 5 straight at the Garden. Was this the Knicks' best win of the season, and what went right for the Knicks on Christmas Day?
Yeah, I mean, listen, it was a really good win. The win against Miami Heat at the Garden was pretty good earlier, too. The win against the Lakers was good. I mean, they're stringing together some pretty impressive wins this season. But, yeah, probably this is number one. I mean, you know, to beat a team that had been playing so well recently, that had their number, and to really just, you know, they led throughout this matchup. This was one of their best performances, if not their best performance of the season.
Yeah, it's hard to not see it that way, beating a team that you were 0-3 coming into this game and finally getting a win. Jalen Brunson was big in this one. Steph, another big game in a big-time spot, knowing the Knicks needed a win against a contender in the East. We're 29 games into the season. In your eyes, is Brunson a lock to be named All-Star this season?
Now, lock is strong. I mean, I would pick him to be an All-Star, but considering how stacked the Eastern Conference is, you know, you're going to have to look at a guy like who we played today. Dame Lillard will get consideration. Donovan Mitchell will get consideration. Tyrese Maxey, Tyrese Halliburton. So there are a lot of guards in the East. But for me, when you go through the 12-man All-Star roster of the East, Jalen Brunson has to be a part of it. I wouldn't call him a lock, though.
Wouldn't have him as a lock, but there's a lot of competition there at the guard spot, so we'll see how that all shakes out. Now, R.J. Barrett, also impressive in this one. Steph scoring 21 points on the holiday. He was aggressive from the jump. Was his success on Monday, simply about him getting easy baskets and looks in transition?
Yeah, I think that was a part of it. He also took 5 3-pointers and hit 2 of them. So, you know, certainly his jumper was a part of it. But it's always hard for me to analyze R.J. Barrett because he's so streaky. On games like tonight, I see him. He's using his size as strength. He's finishing around the rim efficiently. Other nights, he just doesn't have that in him. And it's, you know, I get it. A lot of players are streaky. Emmanuel Quickley is streaky. But, you know, with R.J. Barrett, what he needs to do is consistently put these kind of efforts together. We saw that in the beginning of the season. And then he had the migraine issue and the knee issues that kind of derailed him. And he hasn't gotten back track since. But today was definitely a step in the right direction.
Definitely a step in the right direction. It's something Knicks fans want to see, is that consistency that you're talking about. All right, Steph, last thing for me. Next up for the Knicks, 3-game road trip to close out 2023. New York goes to Oklahoma City, then to Orlando and Indianapolis. What will you be keeping your eye on with the Knickerbockers as they end the calendar year with this trip?
Those are tough matchups, and you wouldn't have thought about that those were going to be that tough before the season started. But OKC is really taking a step forward there. With Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Chet Holmgren, and then Orlando's put together a pretty good season. You know, and then Indiana, we saw them in the in-season tournament final. Tyrese Halliburton has taken that step forward. But regardless how this road trip plays out, you know, we looked at the month of December and thought, oh, my God, this might be, you know, a situation where the Knicks leave here and they're entering the new year with a much worse record than what they had beginning of the month, just because of the number of road games on the schedule and the difficulty of opponents. But I think they really did a good job starting with that West Coast trip where they took the game against Phoenix. They took the game in L.A. against the Lakers, and now they beat the Milwaukee Bucks at home. I don't want to say they're playing with house money here on this road trip. I think they need to win one of these games. But I think that regardless, you look back at the month of December and say they did a pretty good job.
Yeah, it's been a pretty solid month of December. Knicks will try to close out the year strong. As I said, 3 games on the road. Stephen Bondy, New York Post Knicks beat reporter, will have you all covered on the Knicks as they go towards the end of this month of December. Steph, always good talking to you. Merry Christmas once again. Happy holidays. Happy New Year if I don't talk to you before then. And thank you for the time.
Yeah, man. Thank you.